Hi everyone, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you. It's my first video after the Christmas break, so if you are one of the regulars, I hope you and all of your family did have a great Christmas. Festive period, I know we've still got New Year to go, but anyway, a quick infill video because I found some time to have another look at the Strix boards. Now, if you didn't know before, I found some problems with the load line calibration on the Z370 Strix motherboards, in that it wasn't really working very well, if not at all. There was a lot of hoo-ha about it. There was some pretty kind of crappy messages kind of in defense on the ASUS forums as well. The long and short of it was, miraculously, they did bring a BIOS out relatively quickly after that. Now, this is just a quick one, and I have been back and had a look because there was lots of people asking me, should they get it, shouldn't they get it, have they fixed it? And the very, very quick answer is they kind of have, but at the same time, I would suggest that it's not up to their usual standards. So if you don't want any V-droop, you turn it on level 6 of 7. The first 5 you will still get V-droop. If you turn it on level 7, it will actually push past the voltage that you're putting in and go a bit above. Some people learn how to use that for their own, you know, for the good of their system and the way they want to set things up. I personally like to decide what my volts are going to be, and they stay there because that's what we're used to. So yes, it works. Normally with an ASUS board you'd be on level 3 or 4, and on the Maximus ROG boards you would be on level 3 or 4 as well. So there you do still get the questions about what's the matter. Now the problem is, in their defense, although I don't really want to defend them, but at the same time I need to describe and try and explain to you what is going on, a lot of the other manufacturers do struggle with this area as well. Now, I think at the end of it, there are other boards out there that are like this, if not worse, from other manufacturers. I'm not going to bring them into the argument and start, you know, doing this big name and shame thing, but if I've reviewed it and I've seen load line calibration issues, you will know. There's a manufacturer out there where it's like you have low, medium, high, standard, turbo, extreme, ultra, and extreme is pretty much the only one that gets it to kind of stays level, but it's not on all of the boards. So I would say that the Strix VRM, in the fact that it's not necessarily not good enough, because it's clearly good enough to do its job, but the Strix VRM is the reason why at the start they were having load line calibration issues for whatever reason. That was also why the problem filtered down into the Z370A as well, because the Z370A and the Strix E and F are pretty much the same board. They've got the same power design. The actual core design of the boards is very, very similar. The Strix is just the gamery-esque one. So it's almost like you have the same car, and then you have like the one that's like the standard one, and you have the GT, and then you have the turbo. That's how they change these boards, and that's another reason why with this Strix E, which we've got here, which is their version of the Extreme, you have the silver and the Wi-Fi, and then when you go down to the F, it doesn't have the Wi-Fi, it doesn't have the USB 3.1 Gen 2 for the front. There's it doesn't have, it's slightly different colour, and then the A is a different colour again, and it's just something I don't think people pay enough attention into the actual comparisons between the boards themselves. So the long and short of it is it fixed? Yes. If you buy it, make sure you update your BIOS. But to be honest with you, if you buy any board, you should make sure you update the BIOS when you get it, because you don't know when the board was manufactured, you don't know how long it sat in a warehouse, you don't know how long it sat in a distribution centre. It's not the retailer's job to send you a board out with the most recent BIOS on it. So make sure that you do that. It should be something that you do pretty much as soon as you've got into your operating system, if not before, because you don't need an operating system to do it. I always do mine in the BIOS anyway. And if it's a big update as well, you can do the BIOS flashback. If you do BIOS flashback, what you need to remember is you can download the latest BIOS, go on to your driver CD, have a look for the BIOS that's on that and look at the name. If you then change the name of the BIOS that you've downloaded to that name, then when you use the BIOS flashback and you press the button and all that sort of stuff, it will magically work. And I'm saying that, and now I'm wondering whether it's actually got BIOS flashback on it, because BIOS flashback is a much lower level flash, and I've got a funny feeling they don't, because I'm not seeing a button. But anyway, handy hint, even though it's useless for those boards. So make sure you get the very latest BIOS, and also if you're building a new rig and the board isn't literally like a couple of weeks old, download the latest drivers from the website as well. Don't use the ones on the driver CD, because they will more than likely all be out of date. It's not their job to keep changing the driver CD. The driver CD is just to get you kind of up and running. Update everything that you can afterwards. That would be, that's literally like PC 101. It's the same if you get a graphics card. You don't put the driver that's on the CD, you make sure you go and download the very latest one. And as far as graphics cards are concerned as well, don't forget, if you use DDU to take drivers off and stuff, you can actually use that as a easier way to stop Windows Update from keep downloading the very latest drivers for you, because I know it can cause issues. But anyway, so yes, it's better, it's all right, there's, you know, end of the drama. Level 6 works, level 7 goes too much, the other 5 are pretty pointless because they all droop it. So they did manage to get it fixed. It's pretty much up to you what you want to do with that information now. Yeah, I do feel not necessarily bunged up, but it's winter, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So yes, and the things that kind of stress, I suppose, more than anything, is the point that, you know, I brought this up because it kind of got ignored and it fell through the gaps, and that there are other manufacturers out there that, you know, are doing the same sort of thing, if not worse. So it's always, you know, an idea to keep on top of your BIOS updates, but also your reviews as well. Because if there's a board with droop, then that's something I specifically look out for. But I've waffled on enough. I'm going to crack on now. I have a great deal to try and get done for you today. And yeah, I think we are going to probably spin out a subscriber video for you over the next couple of days, just to give you an idea of stuff that's going on, and yeah, bits and bobs that I've got coming up in the future. But for now, at least, that was your Z370 Strix update. They did manage to sort it after all.